What up, you nerds? Fallout here, and if you're new to my channel, gently stroke the subscribe button one time. I feel it when you do. A few days ago, I decided to just put together a short document of god roll weapons that I really wanted to get before the Witch Queen. Not necessarily the best weapons out there, mind you. This is not a list of what I think the best weapons in the game are. It's more of a personal list of what I want for my own reasons. A lot of people found it kinda interesting. Even gaming journalist and all-around good sport for getting memed, Paul Tassi, wrote a quick little article on my list in Forbes. Link to that meme video down in the description. By the way, love you, Paul. Overall, the list is mainly PvP weapons, but also with a light touch of PvE. We're gonna go through each weapon on the list and talk about exactly why I want it and the value behind each roll. But hey, real quick, are you bummed out with the post-holiday blues? Well, tell your winter feelings to pack it in with the sponsor of today's video,
Raid Shadow Legends.
It only happens to be the greatest free-to-play mobile game of all time, with endless hours of entertainment that you can beam into your freaking face right now. Recently, Raid added another huge big bad boss to their game, the Hydra. This thing is a genuine freak, a super-powered clan boss that's here to kick ass and take names. It can share the pain and push damage from itself onto your team, it can scare your champions, rot them from the inside, cloak itself in a cloud of poison, and do a ton more crazy things. If you can, cut off its head. It'll expose the neck, and then it's goodnight Irene. You can deal out omega big damage before it grows back a new head. The Hydra fight may be wild, but it's worth it because you can get some of the best artifacts around. Get a good strategy down and start farming. It'll be worth it. If you're hesitant about downloading Raid, well, get that nonsense out of your head. Not only is the game really fun, but it's riddled with awesome champions and out-of-this-world character designs. They range from "I wouldn't want to come across that in a dark alley" to "I hope this doesn't awaken anything inside me." If you're worried about having the time, well, I got news for you, Stretch. The game comes with an auto combat button, which is honestly one of my favorite things about the game. Grinding out in-game progress quicker than ever before, now that's what I call efficient. By the way, Raid is giving away a super limited edition champion to every player in the game. Some of you may recognize him already. It's esports legend and Navi superstar, Simple. Between now and January 28th, Simple's limited edition champ is available for free to both new and old players in Raid. All you gotta do is log in for 7 days between now and January 28th and he's all yours. If you miss that date, well then you miss out forever. So don't wait around. Now is the best time to get started in Raid, and if you use my link or scan the QR code right here, new players will get some free resources and a free mystery champion right away to kickstart your game. No, I'm not gonna tell you who it is. That would take all the fun out of it. Hit my link and find out who you're gonna get. You're gonna find these rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. When you're in, you can find me in-game under the name Fall Uwoot, because of course, and you can join my clan. It's really that easy. Click the link in the description and I'll see you in-game. Alright, first up on the list is the BXR-55 Battler. The Battler's pretty hot, and although I was a bit wishy-washy on it when it first dropped, I've picked up on it more and more over time. I don't necessarily think it's a top-tier PvP primary, at least in the hands of most people anyway. However, with the right loadout and the right drop, I've seen the Battler do a lot of really filthy things. My good buddy Drew is currently trying to grind out 5,000 kills on the Battler as kind of a personal point of pride. Sorry, 3 hard P words in a row without a pop filter. Personal point of pride. Moving on. The Battler is easy for me to add to my wish list of pre-Witch Queen guns because 1, it has an effective and ultra rare perk, which I'll go over in a minute, and 2, it is easily farmable. All you gotta do is grind out dares, which usually is dummy easy with a group, and you'll be rolling in loot in no time. The legacy PR-55 frame of the Battler I've come to like more and more. When hip-firing the weapon, you've improved accuracy and stability. It feels really good, model off the OG weapon performance in Halo. Week 1, I think I was trying to lean into the hipfire feature like way too hard. In Halo, most weapons are usually hipfired a butt ton unless you're very far away, and then it would be ADS time. The Battler is good in D2, but I was using hipfire for most engagement ranges because of all the Halo FPS time being burned into my brain. Now I only hipfire for very close range fighting, and the rest of the time it is just ADSing as per usual. The perks I'm looking for are as follows. For column 1, I want Arrowhead Break. The Battler has a 70 recoil direction by default. With any other barrel on the Battler, you're gonna have to slap on a counterbalance mod to get that recoil direction up to a number ending in 5, which is usually what you want. Arrowhead, however, takes it up to a perfect 100, meaning I can now put on either targeting adjuster, Icarus grip, or whatever the hell I want. Column 2 is between accurized and ricochet, meaning I'd be happy with either, but between you and me, I probably want ricochet for more of that extra buff to stability, which I value more on the Battler. For column 3, I'd be fine with either perpetual motion or snapshot. Snapshot is always good to have on a primary, but I kind of want perpetual perpetual motion a little bit more. The perk is almost always on, and you get a stability and handling buff. For the final column, kill clip, or the ultra rare perk, blunt execution rounds, aka BXR. Kill clip is straightforward and turns the battler into a really savage primary weapon that's very easy to use. The BXR perk is mainly for abusing either Top Tree Dawnblade, which is still my main, or, believe it or not, the Blade Barrage Hunter. Blade Barrage may be total butt cheek, but the little fanfire melee attack, while weak, is super easy mode for proccing the BXR perk. Chuck those 3 little knives out, probably get one of them to hit, and then boom, enemy dead. I've got a battler with both BXR and kill clip right now that I'm both fond of, but I really want that arrowhead break for a perfect 100 recoil direction. For masterwork, stability, or range would be fine. Moving on, this one should be pretty self-explanatory, but the Eyasluna hand cannon. If you wind up getting the Twitch command to look at my document, you might notice it's scratched off. That's because I actually got one of the roles I was looking for. But if you're new or if you don't use hand cannons, you weirdo you. The Eyasluna is a really good hand cannon in PvP. My good friend ASTRO apparently doesn't like the weapon for M&K and thinks it's only really good on controller, but honestly I've used it on both input methods to great success. I think I actually may have enjoyed it more on M&K. I know that the Luna has a lot of competition with the big boys, i.e. Ace, Thorn, Last Word, on controller anyway, Fatebringer, even Palindrome. Eyasluna is still worthy of being called a top-tier PvP hand cannon, IMHO. The role I was looking for, either Hitmark, True Sight, Steady Hand, or Fast Draw for column 1. I know that's really loose barrel criteria, but I'd really be fine with any of those sights. They'd all benefit the weapon in minor ways that I value, either handling, range, or stability. In column 2, we get the time-old question of ricochet or high cal rounds. Last time I checked, high cal provided a hair more flinch when shooting people in PvP. Always fun. However, I lean a little bit harder towards ricochet. Stability does make a difference on a hand cannon, and my lunar performance is usually better with ricochet. For column 3 and 4, I wanted rangefinder and moving target. Again, that is not the quote best role on the Luna, it's just what I'm looking for. Moving target and rangefinder are great neutral game perks, meaning that they are literally always working for you at all times. There are, of course, god rolled Lunas with kill clip, harmony, headstone, perpetual motion, and more, depending on what kind of build you're trying to put together in PvP. I've got another Luna with perpetual motion and moving target, and I may like it more than my rangefinder one, but I'm glad I was able to track down that role and make that distinction on my own. I still have both roles because my PvP itch will change depending on the day. I should probably see a doctor about that. For masterwork, stability or range would be fine. Next weapon is the Wastelander M5 Shotgun. I gotta get this out of the way right now. I've heard a lot of people talking about how the Wastelander is the hands down best pellet shotgun because it has a naturally smaller accuracy cone. The smaller cone thing visually is true. If you look in the game, it's much more smaller than other shotties in the lightweight frame family, but it's been confirmed that that is only a throwback to Marathon. The Wastelander does not have any better, tighter, smaller, whatever pellet cone. It's literally the same as every other shotty in the lightweight frame family. However, just because it's only a visual thing, don't mean the gun ain't good. It's actually pretty fun overall, and easy to farm for, hence why I'm trying to get my own personal god roll. Column 1, I want full choke. Back in the day, people used to argue between full choke and rifled barrel. I still look for full choke, not only because of the potentially good pellet RNG, but also because rifled barrel comes with a handling penalty, and I greatly value handling on all shotguns in PvP right now. Full choke all the way if I had a choice. Column 2, I'd be happy with assault mag or accurized, and for column 3, I'm looking for either perpetual motion or slide shot. I'm gonna be real with you. If I had to pick between the two, gun to my head, believe it or not, probably perpetual motion, again because of the buff to handling. Most of my shotgun kills right now involve me tapping somebody from mid-range with a primary weapon, then hot swapping to an easy mode shotgun finish. For column 4, opening shot or adagio. I'd prefer opening shot, but the idea of an adagio Wastelander is funny to me, and I'd be okay with that. Remember, adding more damage via adagio will slightly push out your one-hit kill range and make it more lethal. And even though your rate of fire does take a hit, it's not something I'm going to lose any sleep over on a shotgun. For masterwork, range, or handling, I would be okay with. Next, the Pardon Our Dust Grenade Launcher, one of the 2 weapons I'm going to touch on today that fall under the PvE category. It should kind of be a no-brainer to anyone familiar with endgame PvE content. Blinding nades are wildly powerful in PvE Just fire one into a clump of enemies and they all collectively become worthless for a moment or two. You can do that to either give yourself a little breathing room while teammates help you clear the room, or you can use it as the last living member of a fire team who might be trying to get the hell out of dodge. The god roll on most PvE single shot launchers is the 1-2 punch combo of blinding grenades in column 2 and auto loading holster in column 3. I borderline don't care what I get in column 4 or as my masterwork as long as I have the blinding auto loading combo. I have a truth teller grenade launcher in the energy department with that combo, but currently no kinetic launchers with blinding and auto loading. I'm hoping that the Pardon Our Dust will become my first, but the RNG has been a little bit rough. You could also try to chase down an ignition code, but then you would have to settle for blinding and slide shot, which is equally good but requires a little bit more thought. Moving on, the Darkest Before and the Gridskipper. I'm not sure why I thought to put two of these on my list because honestly they both kind of fill close to the same role in my PvP loadout, winning mid-range 1v1 duels with minimal effort. I guess I am kind of a loot hunter though, so might as well go for both, and we can go ahead and talk about why. Starting with the Darkest Before. Ever since trying out my OG Darkest Before that came with full auto equipped in column 4, I was really impressed by how easy it was to win a lot of 1v1 duels at mid to mid-long range. All you gotta do is hold the trigger down, bob, weave, throw in a crouch every now and then, and you will be shocked at how many 1v1 fights you will win. Of course, you won't win every engagement. Hand cannon users who play their cover perfectly and have mastered peak shooting will give you trouble, but for the most part, it was fairly disgusting. Fast forward to not too long ago when Bungie made the call to change full auto into an equipable weapon mod on any legendary. So you're telling me that now I can roll an even dirtier Darkest Before that doesn't need to rely on full auto in column 4? Count me the hell in. With Arrowhead Break in column 1, that takes recoil direction all the way up to 94, which is borderline don't worry about it level. Ricochet rounds or high cal in column 2, either I would be fine with. Ricochet would probably allow for smoother dueling with more stability overall, but the flinching power of high cal on a rapid fire frame weapon can be really annoying to deal with. For column 3, I could honestly go with either Surplus or Quick Draw. More handling I'm always okay with, but Surplus might be the priority for me just for the additional stability factor. Now that I don't have to chase down full auto in column 4 anymore, I'm probably looking for Rampage or maybe Wellspring. Wellspring in particular would be great with Surplus, but Rampage would make winning duels even easier if they happened not too far apart from one another. If you're not me, you should also really keep an eye out for Elemental Capacitor. I mostly still main top tree Dawnblade right now, which essentially gets dick from Elemental. Arc, Stasis, and Void mains benefit a lot from that perk though, so depending on what class you main, Elemental may be mandatory. The Gridskipper is another dad rifle I knew would immediately benefit from a full auto weapon mod, mainly because it has a recoil direction of 55, i.e. it doesn't need a counterbalance weapon mod. Again, Arrowhead Break in column 1 for an 85 recoil direction overall, which I am more than fine with. Ricochet or high cal in column 2 either would be fine, and then probably moving target in column 3. I already have a Gridskipper with heating up and another one with killing wind, and those are both great. Heating up essentially is pretty filthy overall. I enjoy that role, but I've always wanted a Gridskipper with moving target for that free extra 10 aim assist, which would take the damn thing up to 90 overall. Good lord. I know it's a little bit basic bitch, but in column 4, I just want multi-kill clip. You can get a lot of value out of Thresh and Junkie for sure, but I just want the punching power. All you gotta do is lock up even one kill and the dueling power goes way up. For either the Gridskipper or the Darkest Before, I would be okay with a range or stability masterwork. Honestly, if you haven't tried either with the full auto weapon mod yet, you're really missing out. Thank me later. Next up, Dead Man's Tale. I feel like I should have very little explaining to do right here, but if you're new to the game, or if you live under a rock, pull up a chair. Dead Man's Tale IMO is the best primary weapon in D2 PvP if you happen to be an M&K player. Yeah, it does well on controller too, especially after the last buff, but to me it is an M&K nightmare that I usually only put on if I'm feeling kinda mean. You can only get one DMT per week per account, which sucks butt through a straw, and really puts a lot of stress on me because I can now only get 6 more DMTs before Witch Queen. My god roll is very boilerplate and I will explain why. Hammer Forged, Small Bore, Corkscrew, or Fluted for column 1, but honestly, I'm willing to compromise provided I get the right drop in column 3, which is hands down Vorpal weapon. An experienced Vorpal DMT wielder in PvP can smoke almost any roaming super depending on how far away they are when that super gets activated. If you've ever been ripped out of a Dawnblade, Arc Staff, Fist of Havoc, whatever, and the enemy is shooting you with a DMT, there is a 95% chance that guy had a Vorpal DMT. It is unnaturally effective at what it does. It's like shooting Superman with a kryptonite chaperone. In a perfect world, I'd want high caliber rounds in column 2, but honestly, if I get any DMT with Vorpal weapon, I would be more than happy with either accurized or ricochet in column 2 instead of high cal. For column 4, short action, composite, or handlaid would be fine, but again, if I get any DMT with Vorpal, I'm just gonna praise God and move on with my life. Next, we have the Matador 64. I feel like my God roll on the Matador is kind of straightforward, but hey, that's why we're here. Full choke in column 1 for the exact same reason I mentioned on the Wastelander. For column 2, I'd be happy with Assault Mag or Accurized, and really the 1-2 magic combo here is gonna be Threat Detector opening shot for me. The Threat Detector on a shotgun is great. If you ever wanna roll into Cammy's Twitch chat, he can tell you all about his epic hunt for the sudden death roll with Threat Detector and Elemental. That was his white whale for a while. Basically, you're only going to ever use your shotgun within 15 meters of another dude, meaning Threat Detector will always work for you no matter what, because the range on Threat Detector is 15 meters. Perpetual motion would also work, but I'm really looking for Threat. Opening shot, again, a very standard shotgun PvP perk. More range and more aim assist for doing literally nothing, yay. I do have a Matador with Harmony on it, which is actually really effective, but sadly not one with Harmony and Threat Detector. That might be another really fun option to play around with too if you can. Handling or range masterwork for the shotgun, of course. The 9th and final weapon on my list has been changed. It used to be the Glacioclasm, but now that the Dawning is no longer here, it's been updated to the Adept Palindrome Shocker. Still what I consider to maybe be the best legendary hand cannon in D2. Time Lost Fatebringer stands can chatter all they want, but I am Team Pally all day. By the time today's video is out, you're only going to have one more shot at farming a Palindrome before Witch Queen. That'll be on the week of February 1st in the Proving Ground Grandmaster. Yeesh. Not very new player friendly, but you can burn through it with a good team. Check my guide on that GM on the channel. For Palindrome, Corkscrew, Fluted, Hammerforged, Polygonal, or Small Bore would all be fine by me in column 1. I'm not usually here to sweat the barrel if the other perks are all Omega good. Ricochet for column 2, cause Daddy likey the range and stability combo, and Quick Draw Rangefinder in column 3 and 4. I currently have a Quick Draw Rangefinder Adept Pally with Armor Piercing in column 2. It's essentially the demigod roll, and I do love it to death. It's so close to perfect that I really shouldn't be wasting more time trying to chase down a better one, but I can't help myself. The fact that it's a hair off of perfect is annoying me a lot. Range or stability masterwork for Pally, and you should be fine. Very quickly, I can briefly touch on the Glacio I was hunting in case you have it. It boils down to Slide Shot and Reservoir Burst for PvE. A lot of people out there prefer Subsistence in column 3, which is totally fine, but because Sub only refills the mag on a kill, I feel like you're only going to be using that Glacioclasm to burn down a lot of weak baby red bar enemies. I kind of want to use my Glacio to punch majors and ultras really hard repeatedly. Slide Shot allows me to just do that by sliding after each shot and maintaining that uber reservoir damage nonstop, whether or not I get a kill with my shot. Yeah, it requires a little bit more babying than Subsistence in column 3, but I'm okay with that. There's another fusion rifle I was debating about putting on today's video, but because this is god rolls that I'm currently chasing, it shouldn't really be here because I feel like I already have the god roll, and you may actually have it too. Very good chance that you're sitting on a diamond in your vault right now, but I'm gonna save that for another day. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Do me a favor, because I know you're going to do it anyway. Head down to the comment section and let me know which, if any, of my most wanted god rolls you already own. Each time I do a video like this, my Twitter feed gets lit up by people loot bragging, and you know I'm not one to break tradition. Also, let me know what god rolls you happen to be hunting and why between now and Witch Queen. Can't wait to hear from you. Shout out to my patrons, especially those in the better than you tiers. Mad love from me to you. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.